Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to cut through all that noise, clear up the confusion, and really get you the most important stuff from just, well, an ocean of information out there. Today, we're jumping into something that, honestly, for a lot of people, feels less like an ocean and more like this crazy maze full of acronyms, legal stuff, application forms.
Yeah, impenetrable sometimes.
Exactly. We're talking about U.S. veterans benefits. If you've ever felt just completely overwhelmed, trying to figure out what you've actually earned through your service or, how to even start navigating this system, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah, we've really tried to tailor this one.
We really have. We spent, countless hours digging through just a massive stack of sources. And everything official sites like VA.gov, the Veterans Benefits Administration.
Primary sources. Yeah.
Crucial insights from legal groups, advocacy groups, places like Hill and Ponton, VA Disability Group.
People who work with this daily.
Right. And even, community wisdom from forums like Reddit, where veterans share what really happens.
Yeah.
Plus, detailed state guides focusing on tax and benefits. And our mission really is just to pull out the absolute most important bits of knowledge, maybe some surprising facts, and hopefully some advice you can actually use about what's available.
And, we're not just going to read off a list. That's not helpful.
No.
Our goal today is to help you really get a handle on the eligibility stuff, understand the why behind these benefits, which is often missed, and crucially, see how it all fits together. It paints a much bigger picture of support than you might think for veterans and their families.
Absolutely.
And we're going to focus quite a bit on folks with a 100% VA disability rating, because that rating, it unlocks a really significant set of extra benefits.
Okay.
And as a special focus, we'll really dig into the benefits specific to Virginia. It's a great example of how state stuff can add a whole other layer on top of federal benefits.
That interaction between federal and state is key.
It really is. So yeah, let's unpack this, because this isn't just policy we're talking about. It's people's lives.
All right, let's start right at the foundation. If there's just one thing you take away today, it needs to be this core idea, service-connected condition, bedrock.
Yeah.
It really is the bedrock, the pillar for VA disability compensation. Simply put, it means an illness or injury that was either caused by your active military service or maybe made worse by it.
Exactly. If you can't establish that connection, pretty much everything else we talk about today regarding disability pay it doesn't apply.
It's the gatekeeper.
Absolutely. It's the gateway. It's not just having a condition now, something affecting your mind or body. The vital piece is proving that link, that connection back to your time in service.
Okay.
And beyond that link, there are basic service requirements too. You need to have served on active duty for training, or inactive duty training. Those two things, the condition linked to service and the qualifying service itself, that's the first hurdle.
So establishing that link, that service connection, that sounds like it could be tough. Like you might need to be a detective, especially if years have gone by. How do veterans actually do that?
Yeah, it can feel like a big lift, you're right. But the VA actually has three main ways they look at establishing service connection. It helps simplify it for a lot of cases.
Okay.
The first, and maybe the most direct way, is what they call an in-service disability. Basically, you got sick or hurt while you were serving.
Like a combat injury or something diagnosed on base.
Precisely. An injury in the field, a condition diagnosed during active duty, maybe an illness from a specific deployment. Your service medical records are obviously evidence here.
Makes sense.
The second way is pre-service aggravation. This is for something you already had before you joined, but military service clearly made it worse, significantly worse.
Okay. Like maybe mild asthma that became severe?
Exactly. Perfect example. Maybe strenuous training or exposure to dust or fumes during service made that pre-existing asthma way worse, debilitating even. That worsening could be service-connected. You'd need proof of the condition beforehand, and then evidence it got worse because of service.
Gotcha. And the third way?
The third one is post-service disability. And this one's becoming more and more relevant, especially with things like toxic exposures. This is where a condition pops up after you've left the service, sometimes years, even decades later, but it's still related to your active duty.
Like cancers or maybe some mental health issues that take time to show up.
Exactly. Conditions with long latency periods. The challenge, of course, is making that link back to service after so much time has passed. But it's definitely possible. You need solid medical opinions, maybe buddy statements, documentation, connecting the dots.
That makes sense, especially with how health issues can develop over time. But you mentioned something earlier that sounded like a huge help. Presumptive conditions. That sounds like it could really ease the burden of proof for veterans. What does presumptive mean here?
Oh, it's absolutely a game changer. It directly tackles that difficulty of proving a link years down the road. For certain conditions, if you served in a specific place during a specific time, the VA basically assumes your condition is service-connected.
They assume it, so you don't have to find that direct smoking gun proof.
Right. It removes that massive burden of proving the direct link yourself. The VA says, look, based on where and when you served, we know certain conditions are linked to that service, so we'll presume the connection. It saves veterans immense time, stress, and, frankly, heartache trying to prove complex links.
Can you give us some examples? I'm guessing this is where something like the PAYCT Act fits in.
Absolutely. The PAYCT Act, that's the Honoring Our Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics Act of 2022, is probably the biggest expansion of presumptive conditions we've seen in ages.
Huge deal.
Huge. So, general examples of presumptives include chronic illnesses showing up within a year of discharge, conditions linked to toxic stuff like Agent Orange in Vietnam, asbestos exposure, and now, crucially, burn pit exposure from the Gulf War era and later conflicts. Also, things related to being a POW.
Okay.
The PAYCT Act specifically added many cancers, respiratory illnesses, even things like hypertension for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxins. We're talking potentially millions more veterans and survivors becoming eligible for care and benefits. It's monumental. It acknowledges years, decades of veterans suffering from these exposures without that official link. It lists that proof burden.
That really is life-changing recognition for so many families. Okay, let's shift gears slightly to something else that can affect eligibility, and it can be a really sensitive topic. Character of discharge. What happens if your discharge wasn't honorable?
Right. This is critical and often very personal. If you received, say, an other than honorable, OTH, a bad conduct, BCD, or a dishonorable discharge, your eligibility for most VA benefits, including disability pay, could be in jeopardy. It might be denied outright.
So the VA generally looks for an honorable discharge.
Generally, yes. They require a discharge under honorable conditions for most benefits, but, and this is really important, it's not always a closed door.
Okay, so there are options.
There are two main paths. First, you can apply to your military branch's review board for a discharge upgrade. This can be a complex process. You need strong evidence showing the discharge was maybe unjust or wrong, or perhaps influenced by things like PTSD or TBI that weren't understood at the time. It can take a while, often a year or more.
And a second.
The second is requesting a VA character of discharge review. This is different. Here, the VA itself looks at your service record and the circumstances of your discharge specifically for benefit purposes. Even if the military doesn't upgrade your discharge, the VA might decide it was honorable for VA purposes, which could open that door to benefits.
Interesting. So the VA can make its own call.
Yes, they recognize service itself can impact the circumstances around a discharge. It's always worth exploring these options, maybe with a VSO or a legal aid. Never assume it's impossible.
Good advice. Okay, so we've talked connection, we've talked discharge. What kinds of conditions are we actually talking about? It must be a massive range covering physical and mental health.
Oh, it's incredibly broad. It really covers the whole spectrum of how service can impact someone. Physically, you see things like chronic back pain, diagnosed disc issues, nerve damage, breathing problems like asthma or COPD made worse by exposure.
Hearing loss, tinnitus.
Definitely. Severe hearing loss, tinnitus, very common, scars from injuries or burns, loss of motion in joints from trauma or arthritis, ulcers, and as we discussed, a whole range of cancers linked to toxic exposures, and that list keeps growing.
And on the mental health side.
Equally comprehensive. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which can manifest in so many ways. Also, conditions related to military sexual trauma, MST, recognizing its deep impact, and traumatic brain injury, TBI, with all its cognitive, emotional, physical effects.
Yeah.
The VA really does understand that the mind and body are linked. One often affects the other. The breadth is there to try and cover the diverse ways service impacts veterans.
Okay, so let's say you've identified a condition you think is service-connected. There's a really crucial first step in the claims process everyone needs to know. It can mean actual money, potentially thousands in back pay. It's called the intent to file.
Yes, the intent to file. So important and actually pretty simple, but the impact is huge.
What is it exactly?
It's basically you telling the VA, formally, hey, I plan to file a claim for benefits soon. You don't need all your ducks in a row yet. Maybe you don't even know exactly what you'll claim. You're just putting the VA on notice.
And why is that so important strategically?
Because it sets your effective date. This is the date your benefits could potentially start from. Once your full claim is approved later, the VA can pay you back benefits up to 12 months from the date they received your intent to file.
Wow, okay. So it locks in an earlier start date for potential back pay.
Exactly. As long as you submit the completed claim within that 12-month window. Without an intent to file, your effective date is just the day they get the full claim. You could lose out on months, maybe even a year, of back pay you were entitled to.
That's huge.
It really is. Think of it like holding your place in line. It gives you that year to gather medical records, get doctor's letters, nexus letters, write personal statements, all that stuff, without losing that potential back pay. You can do it online on va.gov, by mail, in person, or get help from a VSO. It's a critical first move.
Yeah, that back pay potential is just massive. Okay, so once that foundation is laid, a veteran navigates a process, maybe gets their rating. Let's talk about reaching to the top. What many see as the apex, 100% disability rating. What does that truly mean? Because it feels like it's way more than just the highest monthly payment.
Oh, absolutely. It's much more. A 100% VA disability rating, or a total disability rating, basically signifies that the VA recognizes you have debilitating service-connected disabilities. So debilitating that they make you unable to maintain what they call substantially gainful employment. And potentially, unable to fully care for yourself or maintain a certain quality of life without support.
So it's a recognition of severe impact.
Yes, the most significant level of impairment the VA recognizes. And while, yes, it does come with the maximum monthly compensation, which for 2024 is over $3,700 for a single veteran, more with dependents, its real significance is twofold. One, it's that profound acknowledgement of the impact on your life. Two, it unlocks this huge array of enhanced benefits for both the veteran and their family. It signals a comprehensive, often lifelong commitment of support from the VA.
Okay, so if 100% is the top rating, are there different kinds of 100%? I've definitely heard people talk about P&T and TDIU. It sounds like those distinctions are important for getting different benefits. This is where it gets a bit confusing for folks.
You've hit a really common point of confusion, yeah. And understanding these differences is vital because they absolutely unlock different benefits and levels of security. So first, you have the straightforward 100% VA disability rating. This just means your individual disability ratings, when combined using VO math, add up to 100%.
Okay, the math hits 100%.
Right. Based on the VA's schedule for rating disabilities. Highest percentage, max monthly pay. The VA sees you as totally disabled based on the numbers.
Got it. Then there's P&T.
Right. Permanent and total, or P&T. This isn't really a separate rating. It's more like a designation or a status added to a 100% rating.
An add-on.
Exactly. When your 100% rating is designated P&T, it means the VA considers your conditions stable, they aren't expected to improve, and therefore they're permanent. This P&T status, that is the master key.
The master key, I like that.
It unlocks that much wider array of enhanced, usually lifetime benefits for both you and your dependents. Things like Camp-High VA health insurance for the family, Chapter 35 education benefits for dependents, and generally no future reexaminations to check if your condition improved. It offers long-term security.
Okay, so that permanence and the family benefits are huge with P&T. Now, the third way to get paid at the 100% rate, the one that seems to trip people up, total disability, individual unemployability, or TDIU, sometimes just called IU. This lets someone get 100% pay even if their rating isn't 100%. How does that work?
TDIU is such a critical pathway, especially for veterans whose disabilities might not numerically hit 100% on that VA chart, but functionally, they are just as impaired when it comes to working.
Okay.
It allows qualifying veterans to be paid at the 100% rate, even if their combined rating is lower usually. You need at least one rating at 60%, or a combined rating of 70% with one disability at 40% or more. The key is proving that their service-connected disabilities prevent them from maintaining substantially gainful employment.
And what does substantially gainful employment mean in VA terms?
Good question. It doesn't just mean any job. It means work that provides income above the federal poverty level for a single person. So if your service-connected conditions genuinely prevent you from holding down a job that pays enough to live on, consistently, you might qualify for TDIU. It's about being truly unable to earn a sustainable living because of those service-connected issues.
Not just preferring not to work.
Exactly. And here's a fascinating part. Technically, you can qualify for TDIU at any rating level if you meet the unemployability criteria due to service-connected conditions, though the 60–70% thresholds are the standard path. So someone with, say, a 70% rating, if those conditions make work impossible, could apply for TDIU and get paid at the 100% rate. It's about recognizing the impact, not just the number.
So it really focuses on the functional reality of being able to work. That's a crucial alternative path.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to the wider support system, starting with healthcare. This is fundamental. What does healthcare look like for 100% disabled vets and their families?
For the veteran-rated 100% disabled, VA healthcare is incredibly comprehensive. Essentially, it's completely free VA care, and that covers a massive range.
Like what specifically?
Emergency care, preventive care, primary care, specialty care, cardiology, neurology, you name it. Mental health services, including therapy and meds, home health care if needed, full dental care, which is a big one, vision care, glasses, hearing aids, medical equipment, walkers, wheelchairs, prosthetics, even nursing home placement if necessary. And they also cover medically related travel costs, like mileage reimbursement for appointments. Plus, 100% disabled veterans are automatically put in Healthcare Priority Group 1.
Highest priority.
Highest priority, meaning they get preference for appointments and access to care. It's a robust safety net for the veteran's own health.
That's incredibly comprehensive for the veteran.
Mm.
But what about the family? You mentioned P&T status unlocks things for them. Is that where CHEMP Via comes in?
Yes, exactly. CHEMP Via, the Civilian Health and Medical Program of the Department of Veterans Affairs, is the healthcare program for eligible dependents.
Who's eligible?
Primarily, it's for spouses and children of veterans who are rated 100% permanent and total P&T disabled. It also covers families of veterans who died from a service-connected condition or died on active duty if they aren't eligible for TRICARE. It fills that gap.
Okay, and how does the cost work? Is it free or more like regular insurance with copays? That's always a big question for families.
It's a cost-sharing program, so not totally free, but the terms are usually very good compared to private insurance. There's a small annual deductible, currently $50 per person, capped at $100 per family.
That's low.
Very low. After you meet that, CHEMP VA generally pays 75% of the allowable charges for covered medical services. But the really powerful part is the catastrophic cap.
What's that?
Once your family's out-of-pocket costs for covered services reach $3,000 in a calendar year, CHEMP VA picks up 100% of the allowable charges for the rest of that year.
Ah, okay. So it protects families from huge medical bills.
Exactly. It provides significant financial protection against catastrophic healthcare costs, gives families real peace of mind.
Are there any common things families using CHEMP Via should know? Limitations, maybe?
Yeah, a really crucial one. CHEMP VA generally does not cover dental care. That's a big one.
No dental. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, families need to look for separate dental insurance. Options like MetLife or Delta Dental often come up in veteran communities as possibilities. Another thing is the application process. It's mostly by mail, and it can take time. We're talking 12, 16 weeks, sometimes longer. So apply as soon as you're eligible.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. And, eligibility can end divorce, remarriage of a surviving spouse before 55, kids aging out, usually 18 or 23 if they're full-time students. Just good to know those rules up front.
Definitely. Okay, moving beyond healthcare to financial well-being. The monthly check is obviously huge for 100% vets, but there are other financial benefits too. One that sounds amazing is student loan forgiveness. How does that work?
This one is potentially life-altering. It's called the Total and Permanent Disability TPD Discharge Program. It allows for the complete discharge, meaning forgiveness of eligible federal student loans.
Completely wiped out.
Completely wiped clean.
Right.
We're talking federal loans like Stafford, PLUS, Perkins, consolidated loans. It's primarily for veterans rated 100% P&T or those with TDIU status.
Okay.
Interestingly, even veterans with a 100% scheduler rating, meaning they hit 100% on the schedule but maybe don't have the P&T designation yet, might still qualify. It's worth looking into.
The impact must be incredible.
Oh, astronomical. Imagine having tens, maybe hundreds of thousands in student debt just gone. Overnight, as some people describe it, we hear these stories. It's not just financial relief. It's this huge psychological weight lifted. Allows people to pursue different careers, buy a home, save, just live without that crushing debt. Truly life-changing.
Absolutely transformative.
Yeah.
What about housing? The VA has grants for adapting homes, right? That seems vital for independence.
Yes, these are crucial for veterans with severe disabilities to live safely and comfortably. There are several housing grants. The main ones are the Specially Adapted Housing, SAH grant, and the Special Home Adaptation, SHA grant.
That's a different.
SAH is for more significant adaptations, making a home fully wheelchair accessible, adapting bathrooms, ramps, things like that. It's for specific severe disabilities like loss of use of legs, severe burns, blindness. The 2024 max for SAH is pretty substantial, over $117,000.
Wow. And SHA.
SHA is for slightly less extensive modifications, maybe for blindness in both eyes or certain severe respiratory issues,
Yeah.
adapting a bathroom, making pathways accessible. The 2024 max for SHA is over $23,000.
Okay.
And then there's also temporary residence adaptation, TRA grants. These are they're for adapting a family member's home where the veteran is living temporarily. The 2024 limits are around $47,000 for SAH eligible vets and about $8,400 for SHA eligible vets. It's all about making the living space work for the veteran's needs.
So adapting the home itself. And for getting around outside the home, there's an automobile grant.
Correct. A one-time grant to help eligible disabled veterans buy a specially equipped vehicle or adapt an existing one. It's for specific disabilities like loss of use of hands or feet, severe burns. Helps cover the cost of things like lifts, modified controls. For 2024, it's up to about $25,600. Really key for maintaining independence and mobility.
And then there's one I found interesting, maybe less known, the clothing allowance. What's that for?
Yeah, it addresses a very practical, everyday issue. It's an annual payment for veterans whose clothes get damaged by things like prosthetic limbs, orthopedic devices, wheelchairs, braces, or even certain skin medications that stain or wear out clothing faster.
Ah, okay. Covers the extra wear and tear.
Exactly. It helps offset that constant cost of replacing clothes. As of late 2023, it was up to around $968 a year. Seems small, maybe, but for those who need it, it recognizes a real ongoing expense.
Makes sense. Then there are programs like Aid and Attendance or Housebound. These sound like they address more significant daily living needs.
They do. These are additional pension benefits so distinct from disability compensation, though often received alongside it for veterans who need help with daily activities like bathing, dressing, eating, or are substantially confined to their home due to their disabilities. It provides extra money to help pay for that care, whether it's in-home help or in a nursing facility. It's for those with really high-level care needs.
Okay. And for military retirees, you mentioned concurrent retirement and disability pay, CRDP. This avoids that old issue of disability pay reducing retirement pay.
Yes, CRDP is a huge win for eligible military retirees. Before CRDP, if you got military or retirement pay and VA disability pay, your retirement pay was reduced by the amount of your VA pay, dollar-for-dollar offset.
Ouch.
Yeah. CRDP lets eligible retirees receive both their full military retirement pay and their full VA disability compensation. Generally, you need to be a regular military retiree, not usually medical retirement, with a VA rating of 50% or more. It recognizes both your service longevity and your service-connected disabilities. You earned both, you should get both.
That's a big financial difference. And for those with 100% P&T, you also mentioned expedited Social Security disability benefits. That sounds like a major time saver.
It really is. The Social Security Administration, SSA, has an agreement with the VA. If a veteran has that 100% P&T rating, the SSA system often flags their disability application for faster processing.
So it jumps the queue, essentially.
It kind of does, yeah. It doesn't guarantee approval for Social Security disability as SSDI. That's a separate decision based on SSA rules. But it significantly speeds up a process that can otherwise take many months, even years. It gets crucial support to severely disabled veterans faster.
Great collaboration there. I also saw the Veterans Benefits Banking Program, VBBP. What's the goal there?
VBBP is super practical. Launched in late 2019, it's a partnership to help veterans and beneficiaries find and open safe, low-fee bank accounts at participating banks or credit unions.
Why is that needed?
Well, some veterans might not have traditional bank accounts. Maybe they rely on paper checks or costly check cashing places. VBBP helps them get direct deposit, which is faster, safer, and cheaper. It promotes financial stability and inclusion. Simple, but important.
And finally, something everyone deals with, taxes. There's free tax preparation.
Yes. Through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, or VITA, IRS-certified volunteers offer free basic tax return prep, including electronic filing for disabled veterans and others who generally earn $64,000 or less per year.
That's a nice perk. Saves money and hassle.
Absolutely. Ensures veterans get all the credits and deductions they're entitled to without paying potentially hundreds for tax prep.
Okay, last area here in this section, employment. It's good to know disability doesn't mean you can't work. And for federal jobs, there's actually a preference.
Yes, a significant one. Veterans with a service-connected disability rating of 10% or more get points added to their scores in competitive federal hiring processes. For those with a 100% rating, it's typically a 10-point preference.
So it bumps them up the list.
It bumps them up considerably on the hiring list. Plus, agencies sometimes use what's called direct hire authority, DHA, for critical jobs. While preference points don't apply the same way there, disabled veterans are often highly sought after for these roles because of their skills and experience. It recognizes that disability doesn't mean lack of ability. Often it comes with unique strengths.
That's a great perspective. It's really clear these federal benefits create this incredibly deep support system. But as you mentioned earlier, it doesn't stop there. Individual states often add their own layers of support. And this is where things get really interesting, because these state benefits can add huge value, but they're often less known.
That's so true. Many veterans just aren't aware of what their specific state offers on top of the federal VA benefits, and it can make a massive difference in their quality of life and financial situation.
Today, we're focusing on Virginia, which is known for having a pretty impressive range of state-level benefits for veterans.
Virginia is a great example, yes. And for anyone living there, the first place to know is the Virginia Department of Veterans Services, or DVS. That's the state agency dedicated to helping veterans and families navigate both federal and state benefits. And their services are free.
Good starting point. Okay, let's hit a big one. Real property tax exemption. This sounds like it could save homeowners a ton of money.
It's huge, truly transformative for many. Virginia offers a complete 100% exemption from local property taxes for eligible veterans.
Who's eligible?
Veterans with a 100% P&T rating from the VA, or those with a TDIU rating. It applies to their main home, their principal residence, and up to 1 acre of land it sits on.
100% exemption, so zero property tax.
Zero property tax on that home and land. Depending on where you live in Virginia and your home's value, that could easily be thousands, even tens of thousands saved every single year. It dramatically lowers living costs.
Wow. Does it extend to surviving spouses? That's often a concern.
Yes, absolutely. An unremarried surviving spouse of an eligible veteran also qualifies for the exemption. And this is important. If they move within Virginia, they can keep the exemption on their new primary residence.
Oh, that's great portability within the state.
It is. And there was actually a constitutional amendment approved in Nov 2024, effective Jan 2025, that expands eligibility for surviving spouses of those killed in the line of duty, too. Virginia is really smart on supporting military families this way.
Okay, so property tax is covered. What about income tax? Virginia has a military benefit subtraction.
Yes, they offer a state income tax deduction for military retirement pay and also for Survivor Benefit Plan, SBP annuities. It's a graduated benefit. For the 2024 tax year, you can subtract up to $30,000 of that income from your Virginia taxable income.
And it's increasing.
Yes, it's set to go up to $40,000 for the 2025 tax year and beyond. So it provides growing tax relief for military retirees in the state.
Are there any catches or important details for that subtraction?
A few key things. One, the income you're subtracting has to be included in your federal adjusted gross income first. Two, you can't double dip. You can't use the same income for this subtraction and a separate disability income subtraction if you happen to qualify for both.
Makes sense.
Three, things like TSP distributions or federal civilian retirement like CSRS or FERS, those are not eligible for this specific military subtraction.
Okay, good clarification.
And finally, a nice bonus for married couples. If both spouses get eligible military benefits, each can claim the maximum subtraction on their joint return, so potentially double the deduction for the household. Worth knowing for tax planning.
Definitely doubles the benefit there. Another tax break, the Virginia sales and use tax exemption.
This one's specifically for 100% P&T disabled veterans. It gives them an exemption from sales tax on the purchase of one vehicle.
Just one vehicle, one time.
Yes, one vehicle. But considering how much sales tax can be on a car purchase, it can still mean saving hundreds, maybe even over $1,000, depending on the vehicle's price. It's a direct saving on a major purchase.
Okay, let's talk education again, but at the state level. Virginia has the Virginia Military Survivors and Dependents Education Program, VMSDEP. How does this stack up against the federal DEA Chapter 35 we talked about earlier?
This is a really powerful state program, and it complements the federal benefit beautifully because it addresses something DEA Chapter 35 doesn't: tuition.
DEA is just the stipend, right?
Exactly. DEA Chapter 35 provides a monthly stipend directly to the student, but it doesn't pay the school's tuition bill. VMS-DEP, however, provides a waiver for tuition and mandatory fees for up to 8 semesters at Virginia public colleges and universities.
A tuition waiver? That's huge.
It's massive. It can cover the bulk of the cost of a 4-year degree at a state school. Some VMS-DEP recipients might also get a small stipend, but the tuition waiver is the main event.
Who qualifies for VMS-DEP?
Eligibility is generally for spouses and children of service members who were killed, MIA, POW, or are disabled veterans. The disability criteria usually require a 90% or greater rating resulting from combat, or a 100% total and permanent service-connected disability. There are age limits for children, usually 16-29, and surviving spouses generally must be unremarried.
So if a family qualifies for both DEA Chapter 35 and VMS-DEP,
They could potentially get the tuition covered by VMS-DEP and receive the monthly living stipend from DEA. That's an incredibly powerful combination for funding higher education in Virginia.
wow, that really covers a lot. Okay, shifting to employment again. Virginia has a Troops to Trucks program for CDL waivers. Sounds practical.
Very practical. It helps veterans transition military driving experience into a civilian trucking career faster. If you're a Virginia resident veteran with certain military driving qualifications like Army 88M or Marine Corps 3531, you might be able to waive some or all of the knowledge and skills tests needed for a commercial driver's license, CDL.
Saves time and money getting into a new career.
Exactly. Streamlines the process, recognizes their existing skills. Great program.
Beyond taxes and jobs, Virginia also offers some nice recreational perks. The state park's free veteran disability passport.
Yeah, this is a wonderful benefit. It's for 100% service-connected disabled veterans, and it doesn't matter if you live in Virginia or not. Non-residents can get it too.
What does it give you?
Free vehicle parking at all Virginia state parks, free boat launching, free admission to park facilities, and even discounts on things like camping or renting cabins. It's a fantastic way to encourage veterans and their families to get outdoors and enjoy the state's natural beauty. Great for well-being.
Definitely. And for those who like hunting and fishing, Virginia has special hunting, fishing, and trapping licenses too.
They do. For Virginia residents, it depends on the disability rating. If you're rated total and permanent, 100% P&T, you can get free lifetime licenses for hunting, freshwater fishing, and trapping. If you're 70% or more disabled, you get discounted licenses.
And non-residents.
Non-residents with disabilities can also get discounts on annual hunting and fishing licenses, though the rates are different. It just makes these recreational activities more accessible for disabled veterans.
Good stuff. And finally, back to employment one last time. Virginia state employee veterans hiring preferences. Similar to the federal preference.
A similar concept, yes, applied to state government jobs in Virginia. Honorably discharged veterans get 5% added to their passing scores on state employment exams.
On disabled veterans.
Service-connected disabled veterans get a 10% preference added to their passing scores. It gives them a definite advantage when competing for state jobs, recognizing their service and potential employment challenges.
It's really clear that when you layer these Virginia benefits on top of the federal ones, it creates an incredibly strong support network. But let's zoom out again. Beyond the big categories, there are often these lesser-known benefits or broader considerations that veterans might miss, but can still add real value.
Absolutely. These are sometimes the surprising perks or practical things that don't fit neatly into other boxes but are definitely worth knowing about.
Like military-based privileges. I thought that ended when you left service.
Not necessarily. Since January 2020, there was a big change. Now, disabled veterans with any VA rating, from 0% to 100%, and their dependents can access base facilities.
What facilities?
Commissaries, the base grocery stores, usually with lower prices. Exchanges like department stores, often tax-free. And morale, welfare, and recreation, MWR facilities, think gyms, pools, movie theaters, rec centers.
Wow, okay. So savings on groceries, shopping, plus recreation.
Exactly. It can mean real savings and access to amenities they might have thought were gone. It's a significant quality of life perk for many.
And sticking with recreation, the National Parks Pass.
Yes, another great one. Veterans with a 100% P&T disability rating are eligible for a free lifetime pass.
Lifetime pass to all national parks.
To over 2,000 federal recreation sites nationwide. National parks, wildlife refuges, national forests. It covers entrance fees for the veteran and passengers in their vehicle, or the veteran plus 3 adults where per-person fees are charged. It's an amazing benefit for exploring the country.
Fantastic. What about something more future-focused, like life insurance programs?
The VA offers several options, which is crucial for financial planning.
Mhm.
There's SGLI, Service Members Group Life Insurance, while on duty, which usually converts to VGLI, Veterans Group Life Insurance. After separation, it's a renewable term policy.
Okay.
Then there's SDVI, Service Disabled Veterans Life Insurance, specifically for veterans with service-connected disabilities, offering additional coverage options. And TSGLI, Traumatic Injury Protection, which is part of SGLI, provides a lump sum payment if you suffer a severe traumatic injury while covered. These programs offer vital financial protection for families.
And for the end of life, unfortunately, there are burial and plot allowances.
Yes, the VA provides allowances to help eligible surviving spouses and dependents cover burial, funeral, and interment costs. The amounts vary based on whether the death was service-connected and when the veteran passed away.
How much are we talking?
For a service-connected death on or after 9/11/2001, it's up to $2,000 for burial funeral, plus a plot allowance. For non-service-connected deaths or earlier deaths, the amounts are lower, often around $300 for burial and $300 for plot, but still offer some help during a difficult time. It's a final measure of respect and support.
Definitely important. Now, here's a really unique one. Space travel. Flying on military planes.
Yeah, this is a fascinating perk. 100% P&T disabled veterans are eligible for space-available travel on Department of Defense aircraft.
How does that work? Free flights.
Essentially, yes, if there's an empty seat after all official duty passengers are accommodated. It's mostly for flights within the continental U.S., though sometimes international routes open up. You can't book it like a commercial flight. You register and hope for an open seat.
So it requires flexibility.
A lot of flexibility. But for veterans who have that, it can be an incredibly cheap way to travel. It's a unique benefit, kind of like a military standby program.
Very cool. And another surprising one, maybe less known. The Shades of Green Resort.
Ah, Shades of Green. It's a resort owned by the Department of Defense, located right on Walt Disney World property in Florida.
At Disney World.
Right there. It offers significantly discounted room rates and vacation packages for eligible military members, retirees, DoD civilians, and also honorably discharged veterans. For 100% P&T veterans, it makes a Disney vacation much more affordable. It's a great leisure benefit.
Definitely unexpected. Now, while we've covered all these amazing benefits, we absolutely have to include a warning. Fraud prevention.
Critically important, yes.
Yeah.
The VA itself constantly warns about what they call claims predators.
What do they do?
These are individuals or companies, sometimes unaccredited, who try to take advantage of veterans. They might charge illegal upfront fees for helping with claims which accredited VSOs do for free. They might make unrealistic promises about benefit amounts or timelines, or pressure veterans into signing away control of their benefits or back pay.
So veterans need to be really careful who they work with.
Extremely careful. Always work with VA-accredited representatives. VSOs like the DAV, VFW, American Legion, state or county veteran service officers, or accredited attorneys or claims agents. Never pay upfront fees for claims help. Be wary of guarantees. Protect your personal information. Free, legitimate help is widely available. Don't fall victim to scams.
Crucial warning. Before we wrap up, maybe just a quick look back. How did this complex system of benefits even come about? A little historical context, and maybe a snapshot of how many veterans rely on it today.
Sure. It's been a long evolution. You can trace benefits back centuries, even to the Revolutionary War, though records are better from the Civil War onwards. Interestingly, the Union side in the Civil War had better record keeping than the Confederacy, which impacted pensions later. A pivotal moment was the Bonus Army in 1932. WWI vets marched on D.C. demanding early payment of promised bonuses. The government's harsh response created a public outcry and really highlighted veterans' needs during the Depression. That paved the way for things like the GI Bill after WWII.
So it was built over time, often spurred by advocacy and need.
Exactly. It wasn't created overnight. It evolved through legislation, advocacy, and recognizing the nation's obligation. And today, the scale is massive. As of 2023, there were about 4.3 million disabled veterans in the U.S.
Wow.
And over 3.9 million of them were receiving VA disability compensation. So these benefits are a vital lifeline for a huge number of veterans and their families. It underscores just how critical this system is.
What an incredible journey through this information. I mean, it's undeniable the world of veterans benefits is complex, it's layered, it's constantly changing. It can definitely feel like that maze we mentioned. But hopefully by, breaking down these key ideas, service connection, what 100% really means in its different forms, P&T, TDIU, and especially how state benefits, like Virginia's, add so much more life.
Hopefully you, our listener, can start to see the full picture. You can start unlocking everything you've earned. It's about that comprehensive support system.
That's exactly the goal. Because look, this knowledge is powerful, but only if you understand it and, more importantly, use it. So we really encourage you, if this applies to you or someone you know, engage with these resources.
Where should people start?
Start with the official sites, va.gov for federal stuff. Your state's Department of Veteran Services, like Virginia DVS for local help, they are invaluable. Don't hesitate to reach out to accredited VSOs. They offer free help navigating claims.
Like the Legion, DAV, VFW. Exactly, or reputable advocacy groups. And, even places like the Reddit forum we mentioned earlier are veterans benefits. Sometimes hearing from other veterans, getting that peer support can make a huge difference in understanding the real-world process.
Yeah, shared experience is powerful.
It really is. So the final thought maybe is this. Staying informed, asking questions, and taking action are the first steps. It's an ongoing responsibility for all of us, really, to ensure that those who serve get every single benefit and opportunity they deserve. Being informed is how that journey starts. Thanks for diving deep with us today.